Hey there, and welcome to episode 1 of 3 out of this mini-series called Like a Boss. And I want to welcome you and congratulate you again for being in that 3 to 5% that I spoke about on that first video where we had the opportunity to first connect. Because if you're here right now, I know that you're serious about making that change. And I'm so excited because this is one of my favorite topics when I talk about grabbing that boss-like factor, because it's so pivotal. And you're going to hear this message and you're going to say, maybe you've heard something similar like this, but I'm going to challenge you to stay with me till the end. Because you may have heard something similar like this, but you haven't heard this exact message. And this is the one that's going to really step it, because this is the first step. And if you miss the first step, you know, like anything, you're already off course. So here we go. I've labeled this your truest desire. And I want to start off with a quote from Brendon Burchard that is going to really make this, set the platform for us. He says, your job is to define clarity, not hope for it. And I really want that to sink in just for a second, because when we talk about the first step, we talked about being that boss-like factor. It's about achieving your truest desires in life, in all areas of life, not just one. Remember what we said, success must have achievement plus fulfillment. And if we don't have absolute clarity on what that even means, if that's just a word to us, well then how are we ever going to A, get it, and B, if we were to stumble across it, which I don't even believe would ever happen, but even if you were, you wouldn't even know it. And that would be really such a waste of energy and effort. And I want to use an analogy of, imagine you're going out on a Saturday night, okay? It's like your best friend's birthday party, all right? It's like a big one, like 30th, 40th, 50th, whatever it is, right? One of those milestone ones. And you're dressed up, and you and your partner, gone out, bought new outfits, you got your hair done, you've got all tanned up and makeup and, whatever you have to do to make yourself feel like $1,000,000, yeah? And you start to run a little bit late, and you get a bit flustered, and you rush out the door, and as you rush out the door, and you get in the car, and you start driving, and you realize that you've forgotten the invitation, and you've got absolutely no idea where this party is, because they just said it's somewhere in, it's somewhere in the CBD, okay? So yeah, you've already started heading down towards the CBD, and you look for the actual address to punch it into the GPS, and you realize that you haven't got it. And you say to yourself, you know what, don't stress, I know the city pretty well, and I'll be able to just find the party. And if not, I'll follow the crowd, because I'm sure sooner or later somebody will be going to this party. It's going to be huge. There's going to be at least 100 of us. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds ridiculous. I feel ridiculous even saying that. And yet, isn't that how most of us live our lives? We have no absolute clarity on what it is we really want, or where it is, in fact, we're going. And so we get caught up in society. It's dictating to us all the time where to go. Whether it's your friends, or most likely it started from your family, telling you how you've got to be and where you've got to go and what you've got to study, what you've got to wear, how you've got to behave, how you don't have to behave, what words you can say, what words you can't say. Does that make sense? And we just start following the crowd, and we do things that maybe interest us, or we at least tell ourselves they interest us, and we find an interest in it. But is it our real passion? Is it really how we want things to be? And so we get consumed with mediocrity of it being okay. It's a comfort, it's a contentness. And that really is death knocking on our door, because if we're just okay and we're just content, well then we can't have passion. We can't have fulfillment. We can't be living at the peak of our existence. So we know that having clarity for your truest desire is exactly pinpointing how you want it to be. And for a lot of us, that can be scary, because, it's a matter of then committing to something and saying, well, what if that's not it? What if I achieve it and it doesn't give me the level of fulfillment that I thought it might have? And that is such a great question to start on. And the reality is, it might not be it. In fact, you may never find it, because I believe fulfillment, and the people that I have had the fortune to hang around with and study from and be mentored by, appreciate that it's the journey. You see, it's never the destination, because if you ever had that moment where you've planned a goal, right, and you've then actually achieved the goal, and you sit there and go, is that it? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, you put in all this effort, all this energy, the sleepless nights, the stress, the anxiety, all the rest of it that came with it. You finally achieve it, and you're like, okay. I thought there might be like fireworks going on inside, or this might like last more than 5 minutes or an hour or whatever it did. And that's what it is, because it's never about the destination. Now, we want to reach that destination in the end, but here's the thing. When you're striving for fulfillment and true success along with that achievement, is that the goalposts keep moving forward. You see, what you're going to set today, you wouldn't have set 5 or 10 years ago, because you're developing as a person. So therefore, your dreams and aspirations and your awareness of what even is possible for yourself is continually developing. So as you're striving for that goal, that outcome, and you're really enjoying the journey, the challenges, the trials, the tribulations that come with it, you're realizing that what you had set at that point was only because that was your limitation then. But 6 months or 12 months or 2 years into it, you're like, yeah, I'm going to get to that destination, but then I've got to push it further again. And I trust that makes sense, because that's exactly how it takes place, okay? So once you've got that GPS set, the beautiful thing is it locks your mind in to saying, that's what I'm going to focus on. And we have this beautiful part of our brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And what it does is it helps us guide us onto something specific. Because we're taking in over 2 million bits of information per second. All 5 of our senses are fully engaged, and we couldn't function by actually paying attention to all of those 2 million bits of information. So our mind, through our experience, our values, our belief system, it narrows that down to something that is much more manageable. But then if we don't take control of that, and if we don't say, well, I want to focus on this particular outcome, it's just going to be based on what's happened in the past, what our experiences have been, what our belief system is from back then. So we have a choice now where we have to say to ourselves, I want to focus on achieving this specific outcome in my life. And your brain's going to go, oh, okay, cool, you want that. Let me give you an example. Have you ever bought a car or a piece of clothing or something like that, or a TV or whatever it is? Let's use the car for an example, because it's a really easy one. And you buy that car and you're super pumped about that car. And as you drive it out, and for the next week or 2 or so, you realize, man, look, there's my car, and there's my car, and there's my car in exactly the same color, or there's a different color, but it's exactly the same car that I just bought. Now, is it chance or coincidence, or did everybody in your area just decide to buy that car? The reality is, those cars have always been out on the road, but you've just never chosen to notice them because they weren't relevant to you at that point. That's exactly what that is. That's your RAS kicking in, saying, cool, look at this beautiful car, I've just bought it, and I feel proud and super excited, so you're noticing that car out on the road. And so the same will happen when you tell your mind, hey, this is what I want to focus on in this specific area of my life, whether it's my career, a business, a promotion that I'm going for, a pay increase that I'm going for, whether it's something personal in my life, where it's a relationship that I'm currently in that isn't where I want it to be, but I really haven't given it any time or attention. So no wonder here it is. Well, now I'm going to focus on it. Now I'm going to activate that RAS and say, help me find ways to spark up and re-engage this relationship or this business venture or whatever it is that you're focusing on. Does that make sense? I trust it does. And I get now that you've probably heard this, and like I said, you may have heard this message before or something similar, it sounds quite logical. Like if I focus on something, eventually if I put enough energy and effort into it, I am going to achieve it. But yet so many of us wonder why there are certain areas of our lives that are unfulfilled, that are seemingly very, very unsuccessful, even though on Facebook or Instagram or to the outside world, we put on this brave face and try to make it look like it's successful. But we know in ourselves it's not, and that's what we're here to do. We're not for anybody else, but we're here to achieve that level of success for ourselves. So here's the challenge. I want you to choose just one area of your life right now, because I guarantee your mind's going crazy with all the different areas of your life that you want to improve. And I love that. And you can take this strategy and of course you can extrapolate it over all areas of your life. But we're limited by the certain amount of time that we have. So I want to give you as much value as possible. So choose just one area of that life. So whether it's your wealth, whether it's a career, whether it's a spiritual, whether it's a relationship, just one. And once you've got that one, I want you to drill down further. I want you to choose one specific goal. It can be a goal that you might say to yourself, hey, this is just something I want to achieve in the next week or month or 6 months. Or you know what, this is like a big, grandiose, this is the ultimate, aspiration and goal and dream that I want to have. And it might take you 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter, but I want you to choose that one. And now just for the next few moments, I want you to go into a totally made up world, what I call, the world of possibility, where there's unicorns and leprechauns and fairies and, Star Wars and Jedis and whatever takes your fancy, right? But I just want you to let yourself go. And I want you, whether you do it with your eyes closed, just chill out and take a couple of deep breaths. That's it. And as you get into that place of possibility, I want you to see yourself, now get this, not as if you're trying to achieve that goal, but you've already done it. Allow your mind to go to that place where you're seeing yourself fully successful. You've owned it. You've done the journey. You've reached the destination. And I want you to see yourself celebrating. That's it. I want you to let those emotions build up over you. Good. That's it. A little bit more now. Just let yourself go. Just play with it. Maybe put a smile on your face. Sit up tall. Breathe as if you were breathing that level of success. Good. And now I want you to see who's around you. Who are you enjoying that moment with? What has it meant to you to achieve this? Who's proud of you right now? I trust you are. But who else? Who else in their life has this impacted? Because you chose to be different. You chose to stand out. Good. And as you come back to now and you open your eyes when you're ready, I want you to press pause and I want you to grab the pen and paper and I want you to write down, just very briefly, just what that goal was and what it felt like to achieve it. And I'm going to give you some more time at the end. I'm going to give you a commitment to finish this episode off. But just for now, just while you're in that moment, I want you to write down that thing. So just press pause now. Okay, welcome back. And here's the thing. For some of you, that was going to be super easy. You're just going to get in it, you know it, you felt it, you were in the moment. You hopefully even got maybe even a little bit welled up and you really connected with it. And I congratulate you for that. And if there were some of you that really struggled to see it, hear it, feel it, maybe even give yourself the permission to go there, I want you to know that's totally okay too. Why? Because we're being conditioned, you see, to only take in the negative. When you say to somebody, how do you want life to be? You say, well, I don't know how I want it to be, but I know how I don't want it to be. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be loveless. I don't want to be... And they just go on and on and on. The list goes on. So our minds, unfortunately, work on what we focus on. Remember I said that RAS. So if you're consistently focusing on all the things you don't want in your life, how can your mind engage in all the things that you do want? Now you might say, Jackie, that's crazy. If I'm saying I don't want to be broke, isn't it just the opposite of the truth? I want to be financially free and independent and wealthy. Yes, I get that. But the mind can only focus on what you're telling it to, not what you're not telling it to. It doesn't understand the double negatives. So for some of you, it's going to take a little bit of time, and that's okay too. And here's the task for you. If you are stuck more on the negative of how you don't want things to be and how you feel things have been for you, I want you to write that list down, okay? And I want you to write that list down of I don't. Whatever it is, that one specific goal that you think you want to choose, but you just can't picture the final outcome, but you just know how you don't want it to be because this is currently how it has been or how it currently is in your life, yeah? And this is the great thing. Once you've got the I don't list, all you need to do is pick the exact polar opposite. So let me give you an example. Let's say we pick wealth because that's an easy one, okay? I don't want to be broke. So what's the opposite of that? I want to be financially independent. Write that down. You'll be amazed how your mind engages in how it is now you want it to be. It'll start opening up the world of opportunity and possibility, okay? So go ahead and do that for the rest of the list of all the things that I don't. And the main thing is that you're in there leaning in and having a go, because this is going to take some time. You've got some habits. I'm going to say you've probably been doing this for the last 5, 10, 20, 30 years of your life, right? So there are just some different strategies that we're going to have to put in place, but we're going to get you there. That's the main thing. As long as you keep leaning in, we've got the strategies and tools to get you there. Okay, so welcome back. Now here's the thing. You've got your one goal. So I want to congratulate you for that. And you've stuck with me this whole time because I wanted these to be power-packed. And if I'm talking too fast, I really apologize, but I'm passionate. You've made the commitment. You're taking the time out of your day to come and join me to share with you these cool tools and strategies that have helped me have the level of success in my life. So I want to congratulate you for that. And I want you to now take a moment to really connect with what you've just achieved here. Step one is clarity. And I want you to know how you feel within yourself, to be able to put pen to paper on something that has seemingly eluded you, but maybe it's always been just there. It's just around the corner, but because you haven't been able to pinpoint it with the level of depth and clarity that you have today, maybe you just couldn't take that extra step because you didn't know what that step was. And then here's the fun part, now you do. And change happens just like that in a heartbeat. So I want you to take a moment now. I want you to think about, what are the next 3 weeks going to be like for you with this level of clarity? Imagine you don't even listen to the next 2 episodes, and I really trust that you do, because if you've enjoyed today, you're going to love the next 2. But imagine you didn't. Imagine you face the next 3 weeks with this level of clarity and this level of commitment and dedication and passion to making that happen, because it's just like, wow, this is where I've been going. This is what I've wanted to achieve. And now your mind is engaged and it's seeing all the opportunities. It's feeding you the steps that you need to take. Even before, just yesterday, just an hour ago, just half an hour ago, you didn't have the how. And all of a sudden the how starts coming to you. What's that going to mean? What are the next 3 weeks going to look like? What changes are going to happen within you and for the people around you? And imagine you stuck with this for 3 months. You just kept going back to that piece of paper, that level of clarity, and you kept adding to it and making clearer distinctions and giving it more detail and bringing it to life. As if the book's already been written, that chapter in your life has already been written, and now you're just out there fulfilling it. Imagine for 3 months, what would it feel like? What could you achieve in that 3 months? What if it was 12? What if you lived dangerously and said, you're going to stay committed, you're going to keep coming back, you're going to hit boundaries and walls and obstacles and challenges, but along the way, you're going to have lots of success and fulfillment and growth within that time too. And for 12 months, you just nutted it out. You just kept looking at that goal. You said, I'm going to get it no matter what. I'm going to achieve that goal. I wonder what the next 12 months will look like for you. And so your commitment between now and our next episode, which is going to be in the next 24 hours, because I believe in immersion. I believe while I've got your attention, I need to captivate that. Does that make sense? So in the next 24 hours, I need you to expand on that level of clarity. Take the time now. Don't leave. Just another 10 or 15 minutes. It's all it's going to take. Write it down over the next 24 hours as your mind opens up to all these other possibilities, because that RES is going to be activated now on this particular goal. I want you to keep that pen and paper with you, and I want you to journal all the extra distinctions that are going to come through for you with as much detail. It doesn't matter, as silly as it may sound and feel to you at that point in time, write it down. Because it's all about tricking your mind to believing it's already happened. Because your mind can't distinguish between reality and fantasy. I mean, isn't that the way most of us live in fear? Most of our fears are all fantasy anyway. But I don't want to digress onto that. So I want to thank you for hanging in there today, and I really want to congratulate you for leaning in. Okay? I really encourage you to interact with us on Facebook. Say g'day, drop a line, let me know what you thought of this first episode, because this journey is not about doing it on your own. It's about being around with like-minded people that are going to challenge you, encourage you, and champion you throughout this journey, because it is tough. Remember, if it was easy, what's the old saying? Everyone would have it. Does that make sense? So join us on Facebook, say g'day, tell us what it's about, and I'm super, super excited to give you the next episode. Like I said, tomorrow around the same time, you get another email with me, passionately screaming at you, down your computer or phone or however you're listening.